5 main characters inhabit the world of the unforgettable short story Rip Van Winkle. The title character, Rip Van Winkle, is a kind, gentle, and generous man who's eager and willing to help his neighbors, but he also hates to work, especially on his own farm. He's well liked by the others in the old village, but is insufferable to his nagging wife because he does not support his family by farming. Rip escapes the torment of his wife's complaints by sitting and talking with his group of friends or stealing off by himself, particularly to fish and hunt with his dog Wolf. When his wife's nagging becomes intolerable, he climbs up into the mountains to find some peace and quiet. That's where he meets the stranger, follows him to where a group of mysterious figures play ninepins and drinks their liquor, which makes him fall asleep for 20 years. When Rip returns to the town he left, he's bewildered by the changes he sees. Dame Van Winkle is Rip's wife and the mother of his son and daughter. She is a terrible nag who makes Rip's life a misery. Because Rip hates to work on the farm, she's always berating him, and he's always running away to escape her nagging. She's a harsh, loud, and intolerant woman who speaks her mind when people do things she doesn't like. Whether she's just plain nasty or driven to her behavior by her husband's laziness, her ferocious nagging is what sends Rip on his fateful climb up in the mountain. The stranger is a man Rip sees up on the mountain. Dressed in old-fashioned Dutch clothes, he carries a keg of liquor up the mountainside to a group of men who are playing ninepins. The stranger signals to Rip to help him carry the keg, which Rip does. The stranger seems to be a member of explorer Hendrik Hudson's crew, maybe even a ghost. Hudson discovered and sailed up the river that is named after him. The Dutch folk in the story claim that Hudson and his crew return to the Catskills every 20 years to keep an eye on the river they discovered and love. In fact, the fancy-hatted commander at the revelry site might be Hendrik Hudson. Curious about the elderly stranger, Judith Gardenier approaches Rip when he's older and bewildered, having awakened in this new world, carrying a baby in her arms. Struck by the young woman's appearance and manner, Rip questions her about her parents and learns that Judith is, in fact, his now grown daughter, and that it has been 20 years since he disappeared up the mountain with his rifle and his dog. She also has an infant named Rip. Peter Vanderdonk is a descendant of a historian of the same name. His ancestor had written an early account of the region's history, which Vanderdonk says confirms that Hendrik Hudson and his crew return there every 20 years to play at ninepins and revisit the river they discovered.